Hello, Joy Olson of Blockbuster Fundraising here with your daily tip. And as we all are very aware, 2016 fundraising is definitely winding down. But hey, we've got the biggest giving days of the year ahead of us. So we want to make sure that our fundraising efforts are focused on target and are going to be the most effective last-minute fundraising appeals that we've ever done. So before you send that final email, let's give them a quick review to ensure that they'll pay off. And these 7 tips I'm going to give you are straight from the experts at Network for Good. I love their stuff. I love their year-end stuff. It's so right on. So let's talk about it. Number 1, strike on December 30th and 31st. So you know that these are the 2 biggest days, the days that this year peaks. And of course, the big peak is December 31st. Your donors are going to be ready to complete their year-end giving. So you want to make sure, by golly, you're on the top of their mind and the top of their inbox. So that's number 1. You've got to be there. And don't just be meek about it. Be there 2 or 3 times on December 30th and 31st if you want to play like the big boys, and I know you do. Number 2, they say, make your subject line do the heavy lifting. Don't you love that? So you've got to remember that your donors are receiving so many messages this time of year. So your first job is to stand out and compel them to click your message instead of ignoring it or, oh, heaven forbid, trash it. So you know that shorter subject lines are better, and you want to create a headline that gives a little curiosity or an unanswered question in the donor's mind. Those work well. And don't shy away from reinforcing the urgency in your subject line as well. 3rd tip, keep it short and get to the point. I say this to myself all. Joy, keep it short, get to the point. All right, the time has passed for in-depth stories and long-form appeals. Your donor's attention span, it's just not there right now for a big, long appeal. So you need to be bold and clear in your email. And you want to consider that as the time's winding down, it's likely that your donors are reading and acting on your appeals from their phone. Don't forget that. That makes it even more important that brevity is your best friend. All right, call to action. As Network for Good says, make it crushingly obvious what you're asking donors to do right now. A clear call to action is going to drastically improve your giving potential here. And you've got to deliver the instructions for your donor's next step. And you don't want to use potentially confusing words such as help or not join. You want to stick with direct asks like donate now or give today. Next tip, you know this. Underscore the sense of urgency. Of course, the end of the year has its own sense of urgency. We know that, and we learned yesterday in our tip that it's a very good year to use the sense of urgency of a tax deduction because the next year we're not quite clear what the new administration's charitable gifts policy is going to be. But you want to remind your donors that time is running out. And great things can happen if they act now. They're going to solve this problem that you've just presented that you can't solve without them. Nothing can happen if they don't take action. So deadlines, matching gifts, and incentives all help drive this need to take action. and your beautiful, compelling story that touches their heart is strategically important. So you want to underscore the sense of urgency. Next tip, big tip. Take them exactly where you want them to go. One of the biggest mistakes that Network for Good says that they often see nonprofits make is to take the donors to a transition page or anywhere but their online donation page. And the more clicks it takes for someone to realize the action that you've just inspired, that you've worked so hard to get them to take this action, if you don't send them to the right place or it takes more than a couple of clicks, they're more likely to bail on you. You know that. I'm that way. If I see something I want and I click on it a couple of times and it doesn't work, maybe I get a phone call, maybe I decide this is just too hard, I'll do it later. Do I get around to it? Who knows? Don't do that. You don't want your donors to bail on you after you've worked so hard to get them to click. And Network for Good also says include multiple links in your appeals and make sure they all point to your donation page. No exceptions. Sentence 1, Sentence 2, both have a call to action. Right by your image, a call to action. Right by your video, call to action. You want to make sure that all those great links and clicks work. Please check that out. And last, but certainly not least, make it easy. From your website to your email to your donation page, make it easy. You want to keep your donors in the moment of giving. Isn't that beautiful? Keep your donors in the moment of giving, and a moment that focuses only on the options where they can help. You've convinced them you need your help. Now make it easy for them to help. All right, well, I am excited for you as we close in on these last few days. I thought these were fabulous tips, and I'm so excited to share them with you because I think they're just the inspiration you need to make a few final tweaks that are going to give you blockbuster fundraising results for 2016. So hey, it's Joy Olson. I'm excited for you. And Blockbuster Fundraising and Joy will be back tomorrow with another tip. So stay happy, stay healthy, stay inspired, stay in the office and get ready to entertain your donors that are going to bring by their year-end gifts in person.